Hey, 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 everybody. It is Peter and Sal here from Strong Healthy Women, and welcome to Talking Wellbeing TV, where we share hints, tips, and advice about the foundations of wellbeing, move, eat, and live. How are you today, Sal?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, really good, thank you. We've got an interesting topic today. We are talking about making sure that you are on top of all of your checkups for 2020. So one of the things that happened during the course of this year, it's been thrown into an absolute tiz. And so for many of us, we had scheduled in doctor's appointments or dentist appointments or tests. And what happened was some of these things had to take a back seat to what was a priority and what still is a priority. But one of the things that's been highlighted to us recently is how important these checkups are. So, for many times over the years that we've been working with the ladies at Strong Healthy Women for the past 16 years, we've seen bowel cancer, breast cancer, cervical cancer, heart diseases, a lot of chronic illnesses. And so I thought today was a great day to actually just go through some of these things that we probably need to just touch base with. And what was highlighted was one of our gorgeous women. Actually, there's two of our gorgeous women that I'm thinking of right now. One of them in particular who has had some treatment some years ago for bone cancer and has recently had to go in to have some assessments done in regards to the possibility of breast cancer. And then one of our other ladies who just wasn't feeling right. And after a lot of assessing and testing and whatnot, she's found out that she had cervical cancer. The wonderful thing that I love about these two women in particular is that they have continued working out right up until the point that they needed to go into hospital because they knew that they needed to stay strong. They knew that their workouts kept them mentally active and that little bit emotionally stable as well too. So it was the one thing that they had some level of control over them. And when you're thrown into these types of situations, you can certainly feel like you're on this roller coaster ride and that things are very much out of control. So we today thought that we would go through a list of things that we would love for you, if you're listening today, to check off. Yes, I've done that. No, I haven't. Maybe I need to think about it. So do you want to start us off with maybe one of the ones that you want to talk about, Sal?
I do, because ironically, well, not
Yes,
ironically, I turned 50 this year. So in Australia, when you
you
turn
did.
50, we get our little pack in the mail. So I got my
Oh,
little
yeah.
pack yesterday,
Your poo test.
my
Your
poo
poo
test.
test.
So I thought I'll share that
Yeah.
with everybody. Um,
Nice.
you know, yeah, we get them when we turn 50. We get these little poo tests in the mail, and you have a little, letter and
Yeah.
all that sort of thing. And it was funny because, yeah, it was so ironic that I had got this in the mail. And when I was talking to our client last night, and I was telling her, and she's going, please make sure you go and get that done. Please make sure you do that test. Make sure
Yeah.
you do that test. So that's one of the tests that we need to get done as we age.
Oh, definitely. And it's not just age related either, Sal. Like I know that if there is anything at all change in regards to your bowels. So here's the thing is, do most of us turn around and have a look at what's going on in the toilet after we've done the business? Probably not. But that is one thing that we should do because you will notice changing colors. You will notice, differences that are occurring. And I know for one of my sons in particular, he has to be very much on top of having these tests done as well, because my grandfather had bowel cancer and then ended up with stomach cancer. So it's really important for our family to be on top of that aspect of being tested.
Yes.
There's some obvious ones that I think we need to talk about too, Sal, which is blood pressure.
Yes.
No, yeah. So blood pressure could be high or blood pressure can be low. We see low a little bit as well in the studio when we're working out. The ladies will start to get that little bit dizzy when they're coming up,
Yes.
and that's to do with their blood pressure or that sudden movement. So blood pressure is a very important aspect of it to be checked. Because blood pressure can lead to or be an indicator of a lot of other things that are going on with our bodies.
Yes.
In particular, we want to be aware of whether we're susceptible to strokes, as an example. That's one area. We want to know whether we're having that heart disease risk assessment as well too.
Yes.
And I think what happens is sometimes we just wait till something happens until we go and have it done.
Yeah. Yeah. We get in that mindset of, oh, I just feel a little bit dizzy. I'll just sit down for a minute.
Yeah.
And, I know from my sister, hers started off with
Oh,
high blood pressure. She had high blood pressure. And that's how it
yeah.
started. And so she just went to the doctors. And from there, it was, she had the monitor on for 24 hours. And then
Yeah.
from that, she still ended up having heart issues and had to have stents put in. Yeah.
Yeah. For the
So
ripe
it
old
was
age of 50. Yeah.
50. Yeah. Yeah. And, for our family, that's something that we do have to keep an eye on. I've got one grandmother that had a pacemaker put in her early 50s. I had
Yeah.
another grandmother that had stents put in her early 50s. I had a grandfather who had a stroke. My dad had a heart attack. So it's something, and then,
Yes.
and then on my mother's side, there's four of them. She had three brothers and sisters. One brother died from a heart attack, so the other three decided that they would go and get tested. One uncle
Yes.
had a quadruple bypass. My auntie had a triple bypass. And so, when mum was very grateful because when she had her heart tested, it was, she was given the all clear. She was, your heart's very good.
Yeah.
But, we have to keep a very close eye on that.
The other obvious one is cholesterol, having your cholesterol checked. Just a general overall, having your bloods checked, your glucose levels, all
Yes.
of those standard things that, might show those chronic illnesses like diabetes or high cholesterol, high blood pressure. Because if we don't get those types of things under control, then they can escalate to something that little bit more serious as well too. The other thing that I think gets missed a lot, Sal, is an eye test.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, you're laughing about that one. Why is
I am
that? Tell us
laughing.
about that.
I've been, go and get your eyes checked. Go and get your eyes checked. And I'm one of these ones that just go to the chemist and get the chemist glasses because that's so much more easier and convenient for me. But
Yeah.
I know absolutely I need to get them tested. Yeah.
And it's not so much really in regards to that seeing aspect of it, because, those magnifying glasses that you wear are, pretty awesome, let's face it. But it's the degeneration behind the eyes that can cause, blindness. And so, and only the optometrist is going to be able to pick that type of thing up if we have that test. And
Yeah.
so the earlier we get it, the better off we're going to be. So one of the things that occurred in my latest test with my eyes was that I started to have some sun damage, and I made mention of it to my boys, who are 40, just turned 40 this year, and both of them said, "Oh, really? You've only just got that?" So it was fascinating to know that they both have had sun damage with their eyes for quite some years. Apparently, I wasn't aware of it until I happened to mention that I had this tiny little bit of sun damage. And I find that fascinating because growing up as children, we were more aware of them wearing hats, wearing sunglasses, all of those things. Yeah, growing up for me, we never wore sunglasses. We very rarely wore a hat, all of those types of things. So, and I found that fascinating that was the case. So,
Especially
skin cancer, I think we have to.
too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah. And of course, that wasn't the case for either of the boys. They were both chefs, so they were both indoors.
Mm.
So not so much now because they've changed careers, but, back in those days, no. The other thing is skin cancer.
Get your skin checked.
Get your skin checked, yeah. One of the things that I find really interesting is that ad that they have on TV. I can't remember what it's advertising, but it shows this woman who's got this beautiful face all glowing, da da da, and then what it does is it shows that you can't see what's behind that screen, and so it actually shows what her skin looks like under the lights, which is what they do when they're assessing your skin as well too. And we don't necessarily see the changes in our body. They can be ever so small, some of those bits and pieces that occur. One of the things, I was only a teenager when I had a mole on my tummy, and it was growing. And it wasn't very big at all, but it was, getting bigger. And when I got that removed, because I'm a little bit of a sadist, I suppose, when they actually went to cut it out, and so I watched the whole thing, and I was fascinated with the length of the roots that came with this thing as they cut it out. And, we look at it and see this little tiny pinprick as such, but underneath it's spreading its, tentacles far and wide in our body. And once it starts, it can move very quickly. So, getting our skin checked is really, really important. I know that there's a lot of, clinics around the place, but you want to make sure that you're going to some place that's quite reputable, particularly when it comes to, if you have to have something done, if you are dealing with your face or, any aspect that's out there in the public, you want to just make sure that they're doing, the best that they can possibly do. Just recently, a friend of mine, he had his nose done, and he told me that he was going in to have it done. And I said, "Are you having the plastic surgeon do it?" And he said, "Oh, no, the guy said it won't be too hard and blah, blah, blah." And then he said to me afterwards, I went, "Oh, Rob." And he said, "Yes, it's a mess, isn't it, Peter?" And I said, "Oh, yeah, it's a mess." So he said, he hasn't got all the margins. So he's now had to wait for it to heal and now go back again. So, yeah, make sure you're dealing with people who can really take care of those things for you. What else have you got to add there? So?
Talk to your friends and get. I was just going to say, talk to your friends, get referrals.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, totally good point. Yeah.
Hearing. We have to get our ears.
Oh, yes.
Get your hearing checked. My sister, all my sisters. It is all my sisters. My sister is, what is she? She's 47 and she had a hearing test at the beginning of the year. And she's got hearing degeneration. So,
oh, wow.
That's interesting, 47-year-old. And, she's not one that has worked around a lot of noise, like,
Loud
being in the
noises.
office.
Yeah.
Yeah, just working in office, in accounts, that type of thing. So yeah, hearing.
Mm. Yeah, that's a good one. I didn't have that on my list. Thanks for reminding me of that one. Um, I think it's only about 2 years ago since I've had my hearing done. So the ladies in the studio always tell me that I've got eyes and ears in the back of my head. So they
Yeah,
reckon I don't have to see it or hear it. I will hear it and see it. They think that I won't, but I do. So
hearing
that's all
from
those,
the inside.
yeah, all those years of being able to get in tune with those kids when they're plotting all the time. Um, the other thing, and this was something that I let slip, was dental checks.
Yes.
And the only reason, so I was so diligent with my teeth. And what happened was my dentist retired at the same time my orthodontist retired. And the new ones coming in, I didn't relate to.
Yeah.
And so it took me a while to actually find someone that I felt comfy with. And as a direct result of that, now, for anybody who doesn't know, I was a mature age brace girl. So I got hit in the mouth when I was a teenager, that's high school, and which pushed my 2 front teeth back. And what happened was these 2 teeth beside it were sitting just over the top of it. But as I aged and my wisdom teeth came through, what happened was these teeth got pushed further back and these ones came further forward. Now, aesthetically, it never bothered me in the slightest. Not a big deal for me. But the day that I actually picked up a water or whatever it was, it could have been alcohol back in those days, who knows, and I went to drink and it started dribbling down my chin because of my teeth, I went, it's time to do something. So I was in my 30s when I got these braces put on my teeth. And so what happened was I ended up with wires that held all my teeth at the back, top and bottom. But over the years, these wires have started to break. And because I didn't have a dentist that I was going to at that point, these things started to mean that my teeth started to move, which I have, and I noticed that. And so I've started going back to the dentist, and who knows, ladies, watch this space. I could end up with braces yet again. So that won't bother me in the slightest either. So yeah, definitely make sure you get those dental checks as well too. Making sure you have the X-rays done, because again, you never know what's below the surface.
Yes.
So, anything else that you've got there?
Bone density tests.
I got that one too.
Yes, get those bones checked, ladies. After speaking with our client last night, and she's very much, and we should all be, prevention is better than what you have to go through. So if you go and have your bone density test and you can see that it's starting to come down, you can do something about it. You can get into your exercise and you can do your strength training and keeping it where it is rather than letting it get worse is always
and
better.
You can improve it. You can definitely improve it. I know that Daphne last year, when she went back and had her assessment done, she said her bone density had improved. And I can't remember by how many points, but it was dramatic. It was really, really good. I was so happy for her. And that's because we changed the training style. She was using heavier weights. She was conscious of the pounding, the movement. So, we often get told that walking is great for bones. It's average. Unless you're actually going to slam your feet down, it's not going to be giving you that pounding movement that you need as well too. So that's pretty important. So yeah, we want to make sure that we're on top of that osteoporosis as well too. All right, so kidneys.
Yes.
Something that we may not think about. So making sure our kidneys are functioning properly. So someone who is around the deterioration of kidneys with my mum, and knowing where she is, like she's just at one level off, having to move to dialysis, which she won't do because of all her other health issues anyway. We're very, very conscious. And I mean, I can spend the day with her on Thursday and we'll get to 4 o'clock in the afternoon and I'll just go and pick up a glass of water. Mind you, her glasses are about this big. I don't even think they're a mouthful. And I'll just slide it there next to her. And she goes, oh, yeah, I haven't drunk anything all day. No, you have not. So now, over lunch, I will pour her water and she will drink it. And she will actually drink 2 glasses of water because she knows I just sit there and wait till she drinks the water.
Yeah.
Actually, am I now her mother? I think I've just taken over that role.
You've just taken over the role. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the big ones, our mammograms.
Yes, that was the next one I had to.
Yeah.
We do. For someone, look, I've got little tiny ones.
Doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. But the reality is when they're small like this, they can't really get too much into those machines. So they really can't see too much. So for my money, I would sooner pay and go and have the ultrasounds done and actually, get it assessed that way, as opposed to putting myself through that painstaking effort to not really knowing. So it's easier to go the other way. But that's just me personally. If you've got bigger breasts, then, they can usually get them all in and squash them all down. So, yeah, delightful thing to do, but it is what it is.
It is.
Yeah.
George's had
and look,
one,
remember,
because they found something in her right one. She was only 18, but she's very big busted. She's
big busted,
16 double D, 14 double D. Yeah, so she is really, so it was something that we wanted to keep a very close eye on. Because there's no law in the universe that says being 18 she's not going to get it, so it's very conscious of that.
No, that's exactly right. Now, I was in my early 20s when I had a lump found. Well, I found it and then had to have it removed. I must say that the surgeon that I dealt with, he was magnificent. Like, you wouldn't even know that the scarring was there. So, it runs the whole distance around my nipple, basically. And unless you were looking really closely, you would never, ever know. And so that was always, it was an eye-opener. And I didn't really think much of it in my 20s. I don't think I was very much aware of it. I was quite naive, I would say. You just go, oh, okay, you go in and have it done. And it's only when you reflect on it, for me personally anyway, it's only when I reflect on it that I go, oh, okay, I'm lucky that I found that then and it wasn't anything else. The other 2 things are like ovarian cancer, cervical cancer. These things are hard to know that they're happening in your body.
Yes, unless you get your pap smear.
Yeah, and even then that pap smear may not show it up, and that's what happened for me. Like, I was 1 stage of cervical cancer. So I just knew there wasn't something right. And for 6 months, I kept on going, I'm just always tired. And this is not like me. I'm not this person. So, and it's like, oh, well, you know, you're getting older. It's like, I'm not that old. You know, I was only in my 40s. I'm not that old. And it was only that I was insistent on going back and forth and having more tests and everything like that we found it. And so thank goodness that we did, because, you know, the surgeon at that point said if this had been left, you know, just that little fraction longer, that's where I would have ended up. And so that was a big eye-opener for me as well too. And look, I know for our client who was talking, you know, with the ovarian cancer, she just kept on saying, you know, I'm bloated. I just don't feel right. You know, I'm tired and I'm bloated. That's what was going on in her body. She was smart enough to listen to her body and kept on going back, and she kept on having, you know, they told her she had IBS, I think, at one point.
Yes.
And then she said, I've got to go gluten-free and I've got to do this. And I've gone, is this what's happening? And she's gone, no. And I've gone, oh, that's odd. Anyway, eventually they found out what it was, and she's had her surgery, which is fantastic. She's now back working out as well. So, you know, all of these things, our body talks to us. It tells us. So if you're feeling like you're tired, or you're feeling like you're lacking in energy, or you just don't feel right, and it's something that's ongoing, like it's not just a day thing, there's something happening there, that's what when you want to go and have these complete tests done and get it checked out. I know that for many of us, what we do is we take that thought process that if I don't know what I don't know, so it doesn't matter. But if we do something and we do know, then we can make those changes. But here's some of the facts, Sel. Even when someone has something as major as a heart attack go on, and they know that they need to look after themselves, only 14% continue to keep their healthy lifestyle. The other 86% go back to the way it was. So if something as major as a heart attack can't keep us on the straight and narrow, it's really time for us as women, as people who are responsible for ourselves, to really step up and go, I know that I need to do this. I know that I'm going to stop telling myself I'm so busy. I'm going to start changing small things in my life. And here's what happens is we think that it's got to be something that's massive that we change. It doesn't have to be big. It can be something small. It could be something as simple as what you've started doing, eating breakfast. Or it could be something as simple as what Maria's doing, drinking more water. So it's those first steps, those initial steps that can really have a big impact when we're consistent with it. So some of the things that we want you to think about, ladies, are we want to eat healthy, 90% of the time. We want to make sure that we drink plenty of water. We want to make sure that we move daily and often. We want to make sure that we're not smoking, because smoking is now considered the new, no, I'm going to say that the other way. We want to make sure we're not sitting as much, because sitting is now considered the equivalent of smoking. But we also want to make sure that we're not smoking either, because that can have a dramatic impact on what's happening. And you know what? You only have to give up smoking for 1 day, 2 days, and it's already starting to change your body as well too. So is there anything else there, Sel, that you want to add to any of that?
Slow it down and connect with your body. We've
Oh,
got
yeah, definitely.
food, water, moving, and just slow down and connect with your body. As you said at the beginning, you know what your body feels like or what your body should feel like. And if it's not feeling
Yeah,
like that, and the way you can do that is just by stopping and sitting in the silence and just connecting with it.
yeah, I know. We have a lot of trouble doing that, just sitting.
Yeah, just sitting in the
Yeah,
now and the quiet. The other thing too
yeah,
is if you're not sure of where to turn to with any of these tests, as I said
mm,
before, turn to your friends, get referrals.
yeah. Or ask your GP. They'll be able to
GP.
point you in the right direction as well too. Yeah, yeah. Um, the other thing that I think is worthwhile mentioning as well too, and I know you're all going to hate me for this. You're all going to think I'm a real party pooper, but I'm going to say limit your alcohol. Because even though we think that alcohol is such a great stress release, it's actually more of a stressor on the body. So, we could be doing everything else right, but then we come home and have 2 glasses of wine every night. And we wonder why we're still feeling the same way. We're still feeling that little bit sluggish. So imagine how you can feel if you're not drinking as much. Hands up. This was me until my 40s. I could drink most guys under the table, I think, Sel. You would have known me back in those days. um, and my preferred alcohol was not anything that was, it was scotch or it was rum. It was definitely some heavy alcohol there. And I know that when I gave it up, wow, because I've had arthritis in my knees since I was about 12 years old, and my knees stopped aching. And I went, oh, wow, that's amazing. And so I love that feeling of not having that pain. So I kept it up. There we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And if you aren't drinking your alcohol, if you are having your 2 glasses of wine a night or whatever you're doing, then follow it with water, 2 glasses of water.
yeah, totally. Good advice. Great advice. All right, ladies. So there are a list of things that we want you to think about this year, because it has been one of those years where everything was probably pushed to the back burners because of the change in 2020. And so before we get to the end of 2020, if there was something in that list that hasn't happened as yet, and you think, wow, I need to go and do that, book it in today. So we're just going to run through that list again. Heart disease, make sure that you're being checked for that. Your blood pressure, your eye tests, your blood glucose, your cholesterol, cervical or ovarian cancer, skin cancer, your dental checkups, your kidney disease, your mammograms, your bowel cancer, your osteoporosis, and your hearing tests. Just make sure it comes down to the basics, doesn't it? So
Yes.
living that healthy life, living the happy, yeah, and living that happy life, because stress can be such a contributing factor to some of these things that happen to our bodies. So thanks
Yeah.
for joining me today, Sel. I love the topic today.
It was a good topic today. And we wish
Good topic.
nothing but love to our gorgeous women that are going through a few things at the moment. We're all behind them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And to all women out there,
All
we
women.
all have
Yeah.
our little battles that we go over. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, ladies. Thanks for tuning in. We shall see you all on Friday afternoon at 3:30. Thanks, Sel. See you soon, hey.
Bye, Peter. Bye, ladies.
Bye, Del. Bye.